From Boise State Public Radio, this is The Connector, Idaho Daily News. Good morning, I'm Murphy Woodhouse. It's Monday, April 28th, and we have the latest on the semantics dispute of a proposed initiative that would restore abortion rights in Idaho, and how housing prices are so steep in McCall that the city manager can't afford the city he manages. The Idaho Supreme Court heard arguments in Boise on Friday in a lawsuit looking to change the language of a 2026 ballot initiative that aims to restore abortion rights in Idaho. Julie Luqueta has the latest.
Currently, most abortions are banned in the state outside of a few exceptions. If passed, the initiative would restore women's right to abort up to fetal viability. In February, the Idaho United for Women and Families group sued the Attorney General, saying the way he wrote the initiative's ballot titles is biased and misleading. Titles summarize to voters what the initiative is about. At the hearing, representative for the plaintiffs, Ann Henderson Hawes, argued the use of fetus viability in the short title instead of the more common and medically appropriate fetal viability used in the long one was unnecessarily inflammatory.
When you introduce a new term to a voter that they're not used to, it causes confusion and prejudice against an initiative or a measure, even if they otherwise support that.
Representing the defense, Attorney Alan Hurst argued AG Raul Labrador used terms he thought were synonymous.
If we were looking for actual common terms, fetus is not the common term. The common term is baby. We didn't go there. We didn't try to bias this against the initiative.
The plaintiffs also say the ballot titles failed to mention how the initiative would restore Idahoans' right to privacy and medical emergency exceptions. The defense argued it's difficult to summarize everything in a couple of sentences. Julie Luqueta, Boise State Public Radio News.
Boise State's beach volleyball team will make its first national tournament appearance this year as the number 14 seed, the NCAA announced Sunday. They'll face number 3 Stanford in Gulf Shores, Alabama on Friday, May 2nd at 1 p.m. Mountain Time. The match will be broadcast on ESPN2. The person in charge of managing McCall says he can't afford to live there. George Prentice reports.
Lewiston, McCall, and Twin Falls are the only cities in Idaho that have a city manager form of government. Simply put, that means the city manager, not the mayor, is the city's chief executive. The median sales price of homes in Twin Falls is currently about $420,000. It's about $380,000 in Lewiston, but in McCall, MLS data recently reported the median sales price of homes to be close to $900,000. Last Thursday night, McCall City Manager Forrest Atkinson said he couldn't afford to live in the very city he manages. He is selected by the council, not the public, so Atkinson had to ask permission from the council to live outside of McCall.
I haven't purchased a specific property, but I think that would give me the flexibility to look in areas that are beyond the city limits.
Atkinson says he intends to stay on the job.
If you think about just your day-to-day life, you still are part of the McCall community. Your kids go to school in McCall. You do your shopping in McCall.
McCall City Councilman Lyle Nelson proposed an accommodation.
I move we grant the city manager permission to reside outside the city limits within a 5-mile radius.
The council agreed unanimously. Atkinson's annual salary is currently $170,000. George Prentice, Boise State Public Radio News.
Overnight showers are expected to taper off this morning, with the possible exception of south central Idaho, where they may linger through the day. More showers, mainly in the mountains, could come Tuesday. A warming and drying trend is expected to start Wednesday through the weekend, with temperatures 10 to 15 degrees above normal by Friday. And that's today's episode of The Connector. I'm Murphy Woodhouse, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. To stay in touch with the news between now and then, check out BoiseStatePublicRadio.org or download the free Boise State Public Radio app. Thanks for listening.